Well, of course, the last 11 months have been a bit of a nightmare for US soccer since the failure to qualify for the World Cup. But this has been quite a year. These youngsters are being highly tried. They've already drawn with the world champions France, a respectable effort the other night against Brazil, and now the big grudge match against Mexico. What can we expect, Taylor, do you think?
I think you hit the nail on the head. The fact that this is a transition time, so you've got to try yourself against better competition. Now, what the young players don't realize is this is the game that is the bar by which you're judged for the U.S. men's national team. Whether or not it's a friendly or it's a CONCACAF Gold Cup game or it's a World Cup qualifier, U.S.-Mexico is the rivalry game. Now, I'm not sure we get that necessarily on Tuesday, but the reality is there's going to be a taste of it for some of these young players that ultimately, when World Cup qualifying comes around and Gold Cup, the real action comes. But these are big tests for some young players.
Just at the moment, there's no Josie Altidore, there's no Michael Bradley, there's no Brad Guzan. So there's a new crop coming through. Let's talk about one of those players, Tim Weah, who's in that high-octane environment at Paris Saint-Germain with Cavani and Neymar and Mbappe. But he is getting a bit of game time. How good is he, do you think, at this stage?
Well, obviously, for a player that young to be playing with the first team of PSG, obviously that says where he is talent-wise. But obviously, you hit something that isn't being talked about enough, is that transition of real leadership. You know, Timothy Weah is a young player, and he's coming in with these high expectations from all the U.S. men's national team soccer fans around the world, and yet where's that leadership here? So we may see some growing up, some bumps in the road, but the reality is there's something there. The kid's got real talent, and I think we may see it from the opening whistle Tuesday night.
We've heard from Dave Sarakan, the interim coach, maybe the longest-serving interim coach ever, because he's been going now for nearly a year now. But he says there'll be 5 or 6 changes to the team. We don't quite know what they're going to be at the moment. But he did make the point, because somebody said at the press conference, oh, 5 or 6 changes, doesn't matter what happens then in this game. And he said, you kidding? We want to win. It's Mexico.
Yeah, but that's also why you call in 23 players. I always find that funny when media ask questions, well, why are you making so many changes? Well, I want to see the players. That's why you schedule these friendlies. So 5 or 6 changes doesn't matter to me, because you still need to get some answers on some of those players. I think it's going to be curious to see, does Will Trapp play or does Tyler Adams play in that spot? You know, who plays up front? But again, young players are going to be tested in front of 30,000 plus. I think we get a good idea of some of those questions the United States men's national team have, and some of the young players will get an opportunity to play.
Yep, be fascinating to see USA against Mexico. It's always a big game. 8:30, our coverage starts on ESPN.